Teen mobs at city events is not a Cincinnati thing, and it's been going on for years, going back to the Wisconsin State Fair in 2011. Then there's Philly and Chicago, and just this spring in Louisville. Here's what they all have in common. The attacks are by black teenage boys and girls, and most of the victims are white. The race factor is not something officials like to talk about. As Local 12's Deb Dixon shows us, one UC criminology professor says that silence could be deadly.
Yeah, because you got a party down here on 9th Street, just black kids down here. There's black kids down here beating on white people. This is not right, man.
To some who called 911, the race factor was obvious.
It's about 20 young black kids. They just sitting out here looking for trouble, basically. Beating up on white guys.
11 victims filed police reports saying they were kicked, punched, or stomped by a group of black teenagers or young adults, boys and girls. 10 are white, 1 is Asian, 2 reported racial slurs. Noelle Findlay is so certain the assault was racially motivated, the police report says hate crime.
We were looking for a parking spot going to the Taste of Cincinnati, and we were just going to find a street spot and walk down there.
Here at 12th and Clay, Noelle says about 15 teenagers stepped in front of the car her husband was driving.
Everyone just swarmed the car, and they started kicking the car. You can feel them kicking the tires, and I just kept yelling to my husband, go, 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 like, get us out of here.
At that time, I had my window down probably about 4 or 5 inches. Someone just came up next to my car and just punched me in the left side of my face. And then someone else was on my wife's side of the car.
They punched the door on my side. I thought the glass was going to break. I really did. And just his fist was right there in my face. If I hadn't rolled up my window, my face would have been smashed in.
They were laughing the whole time. They thought it was a great time.
I was definitely afraid for our lives.
Noelle Findlay used to live in Over the Rhine. Her job is about helping mostly young black men find careers. She filed the police report as a hate crime because she believes there was no other motive.
I feel like people need to speak out and say something about it and not just sweep it under the rug.
I do think it's racist behavior. I'll be quite honest. It is racist behavior when you target a group based on their race, based upon their sex, based upon their sexual orientation. It's the very nature of a hate crime.
Dr. John Wright is a professor of criminal justice at UC. He's tracked what he considers mob behavior across the country over the last 5 years, most recently in Louisville. A mob of teenagers terrorized downtown, looting a store, vandalizing cars, and assaulting passersby. Most of the victims were white. Louisville officials say there's no evidence crimes were racially motivated.
We are unwilling to speak about race when it comes to crime because it is such a sensitive topic. It is such a hot button issue. Allegations of racism ruin careers. They ruin people's lives. And the media either remains silent or they target the people who bring up the issue.
Cincinnati police and city leaders publicly condemned the violence. Law and Public Safety Committee Chairman Chris Smitherman said those responsible will be held accountable. In a statement to the Southern Poverty Law Center, a civil rights organization, Mayor John Cranley says nothing justifies hate speech or racial prejudice.
It's not too many ways you can explain the behavior, but we have to condemn that behavior. It can't be tolerated.
Pastor Peterson Mingo's community programs help young people become responsible, productive, respectful adults, such as the Bulldogs, Evanston's football teams, a Boy Scout troop, and a summer lawn care business. Sociologists weighing in suggest unemployment, resentment fueled by segregation are possible causes. Mingo says there's something else.
There's also a thing about loyalty. You with me or you ain't, okay? If you're with me, hey, I'm getting ready to go knock dude upside the head. Let's go. It's not where you can say, no, I'm not going to do it. You know, you're with me or you're not.
Everyone agrees prosecuting those responsible will send a powerful message.
Everybody is so afraid to speak about race and crime that they are silent. That silence allows this to continue. People will be sent to the hospital. Families will be torn apart. People will die.
Rob, I did have some teenagers who were going to talk to me about this, and they changed their mind. I'm having trouble getting teenagers to talk about what happened that weekend, and I'm still trying to do that.
Well, do you think there's pressure on them maybe from others to not?
I know that they know who did this,
Yeah.
and they're bad kids. The good kids are the ones I'm trying to get to talk, and I think
Yeah.
they just want to stay out of it. It's not, they weren't there. They didn't do it. But there were hundreds of teenagers down there, and about 50 broke off into a couple of groups and moved uptown. So there were hundreds who did not make that bad
Make
choice.
the decision
Exactly,
not to go. Yeah.
Exactly.
And on the police report, it says it calls it a hate crime.
Yes.
Is there more penalty for it being a hate crime or no?
No, it is a misdemeanor assault charge, whether it says hate or not.
Yeah.
Same, 6 months, $1,000 max.
Deborah Dixon, thanks very much.
Okay.
Dr. John Wright's focus is on the development of human violence. He consults with many police departments all over the country. You can see more of his interview at local12.com.